I learned to overcome my fear of elevators because I had to. A person can't walk 90 stories every day. A person can't even live 90 stories. But you could get in the elevator, and after only a few minutes, a few stops, a few people doing the on and off dance, you could get on that elevator and eventually you'd step out and be halfway to the sky. I don't know what I expected to find, where I'd go, what I'd see. Even though I'd done a lot of thinking about it, buried enough people to be curious, I didn't know. Maybe everything would get real quiet, silent, like a long afternoon nap. They don't teach you or prepare you for this sort of thing. My parents were much more religious than I ever was. Of course, I went to Hebrew school when I was, 12 or 13. But I spent more time sitting in shul, trying to ignore the fact that Rebecca Stein's tits were coming in, than I did focusing on Rabbi Gelman teach from the Big Book of Judaism. If I'm being completely honest, I couldn't remember a thing on the day of my bar mitzvah. Years later, I still can't, not one word. And when my mother died a few years ago, cancer, I wanted to say something in Hebrew at the funeral. Something quiet, a prayer, the Kaddish. So I sat on the plane for 4 hours, trying to recite it over and over again, trying so hard. And when I got to the cemetery, I just went quiet, silent, like everybody else was. Because these people, my people, we cry, but only in solitary. We yell, but only in private. And when the rabbi didn't say anything about the afterlife, about what was to come next, when Rabbi Gelman didn't say, may she find peace in heaven, I was furious. And I had to remind myself that my mother wouldn't have wanted any sentimentalities like that. She would have preferred to just sleep, without any noise, without any pomp and circumstance. Is she here too? When I arrived, the sunlight was so bright, I had to shield my eyes to look for her. I shouldn't have come so soon. But it's not so bad. It reminds me of when the elevator doors opened, you could see straight out the windows. Because Mitch, is he here? The big man on campus. He loved being able to see the city. And on a clear day, you really could see forever. We never closed the blinds. Always left them open because, well, Mitch would call it letting the sky in. And that morning, the sky was so blue. Up there, the clouds are big. I mean, so big, it's like they're hugging the building. But that morning, no, not one hug. Of course, no one thought to complain or protest to Mother Nature because you could see the Bronx. Hell, you could probably see China if you squinted hard enough. But when the first plane hit, the sky went from blue to gray in seconds. You could feel it, the force of it, the building buckling, all that gray sky hugging you, all that ash and fire hugging you so tightly whether you wanted it to or not. And Mitch trying so hard to stay calm, saying, the standard, it's okay, remain calm, everyone to the stairs. And we were. Calm as a person could be for a while. for a little while. We were counting the stories as we went down, some people singing, some people making calls. Someone told a joke and some of us laughed. But at a certain point, the staircase, it stopped. The stairs, the steps below were on fire or already ash. And Mitch just started to cry right there. I remember thinking I should hold his hand or give him my handkerchief, but I couldn't move. I was stuck, frozen, yeah, just dumb. Does anyone have a phone? He sobbed. I need a phone to call my daughters. A phone, a phone, a phone. Does anyone have a phone? Someone did, and he called and said goodbye. Or maybe it was, I'll see you later. And it was messy and ugly, but only for a few minutes, because pretty soon everyone decided to move, to try another stair. We went back up and across. Mitch just kept screaming and crying, and I don't know if he moved with us because I lost him in the crowd, and I don't know if he ever tried to get up and move with us. And that not knowing, that haunts me. But the other staircase was already gone. So there was only two things we could do, two options. We could wait, or if you looked out your window that morning, if you could keep your eyes open through all the smoke, if you looked out your window, you might have seen some guy standing at a window on the 63rd floor, just looking out, not down, just out, straight out. And you might have seen him jump. Maybe people screamed, I didn't hear them, because pretty soon the ground reached up and hugged me. It's softer than you might think. It's like marshmallows, like pillows, like clouds. For a brief moment this morning, I could fly. Is my mother here? I don't want her to know I've come so soon.